Hello, period 6. If you haven't already seen 23 almost everywhere, you will after this video. Just kidding. But there is a thing called the 23 Enigma, and it is said to be a superstitious belief in the significance of the number 23. I wasn't interested, nor did I believe it at first, but then the more Kaithlyn talked about it, it got me thinking. By the way, 32 is the same thing as 23, just backwards. So, we did the research and we figured that the number 23 has been involved in many scary and tragic events, such as the Malaysian Airlines where 230 people were on board, Julius Caesar's death where he was stabbed 23 times, the Aeromexico Flight 230, which is the flight that experienced a hard landing at Chihuahua Airport, causing 32 people to die. The first person to have crossed the 23 Enigma was a guy named William Burroughs. In 1960, he heard a sailor called Captain Clark talk about having successfully sailed for 23 years without incident. Later the same day, Clark's ship sank, killing him and everyone else aboard. Also that day, Burroughs listened to a radio broadcast which reported on an airline crash in Florida. It was Flight 23 and the pilot was another Captain Clark. But we are barely halfway on this 23 Enigma. The Vegas shooting was done on the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay. A Virginia Tech shooting was done by a 23-year-old man who went on a shooting spree, killing 32 people in 2 locations. Also, the tragic 9/11 event was done on the day of 9/11/2001, and adding all those numbers up, 9 plus 11 plus 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 1 equals 23. The Titanic sank on the morning of April 15, 1912, and adding all those numbers up, 4 plus 1 plus 5 plus 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 2 equals 23. The guy in the movie titled Spit had 23 different personalities, and if you haven't watched it already, he was a crazy guy. And that's the end of it. But if you have been listening closely and keeping track, guess how many times I said the number 23? 30 times. Just kidding, now I said it 23 times. Now Kaithlyn will be talking about the history of 23 and how it all started.
Hey guys, now that Maegan told you the occurrences with 23, I will tell you how it all originated. You all might think that 23 is just some regular number that you see every once so often, but this number isn't what you think it is. This whole incident started with Jim Carrey. He didn't think much of it at first, but he started to see the number more often than usual. He realizes that a parent passes 23 chromosomes, the Earth axis is at a 23-degree angle, and Psalm 23 is his mantra. As of today, he still sees 23 very frequently, and it'll always stick with him. If you all think about it, 23 and 32 basically follow us everywhere. We get 23 chromosomes from each parent, we should approximately have 32 teeth, and our human physical biorhythm is 23 days. As Maegan said, the first person to ever experience the 23 Enigma was William Burroughs. Burroughs was an American writer and visual artist. After this, Burroughs reported the incident, and the 23 Enigma began to rise in popularity, but most people thought this wasn't real and they chose not to believe in it. In an article written by David Woolley, Woolley states that he was reading a book written by Robert Wilson. In Wilson's book, he states his occurrences with 23, and Woolley found this information insane. He looked up the airlines that crashed and didn't find anything. After he read this entry in the book, he looked up in his living room and he found a big red 23 on an empty cardboard box. And this concludes the video, and thanks for watching this conspiracy of 23.